ultra happy people. I am your host, ultra runner and coach Tanya, and here is your magnificent co-host and media manager, Andy.
I am back. We are back.
We are back.
Feels like we were off for ages.
I was gonna say, I think this is the longest we've been away from the podcast ever in our 4 seasons. So welcome to season 4, and I think each race is taking me longer to recover, so that's why the periods are getting longer and longer, and this one definitely took me a little bit more than usual. It took us a little bit more than usual. So yeah, but welcome back, season 4. And so we have a lot planned for this season. So buckle up, because of course we have the usual facts by Andy.
Oh, love it.
Your favorite,
My favorite.
Your favorite part of the
actually enjoy looking
episode.
for them now.
My race experience, of course, of Jordan. A lot happened while traveling 250 kilometers self-supported through brutal terrain again. We have interviews coming, a little bit of our experience traveling through Saudi. After the race, we went to take some days off and recover in Saudi, and it was amazing. We can't wait to share that with you as well. And of course, answering questions, all the questions that you may have. I already have a couple, and we'll be preparing together for the 4th desert, Antarctica, in 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
So the countdown begins
Antarctica.
again.
That still blows my mind that you're going to be running Antarctica.
This one was one that I was looking forward to since we started the whole thing. So bear with us if the episodes are a little bit longer than usual, these ones, because again, we only have probably 5 or 6 episodes, so it's going to be quite quite long, and we're trying to put a lot of information, and hopefully you enjoy them. So first of all, as you all know, we did it.
We have another
We have another one.
It
will be fun to see, like, season 1, there's no medals. Season 2, there was 1. Season 3, there's 2. Season 4.
Yeah.
Here we go.
They've got their wee place on the sofa.
Slowly, they're making it up here. And when I finish, I'm planning to have them all framed with a nice, with my BIF number and everything. I'm going to look for a nice frame, to have them. If anyone knows a setup. How can I put them? I'm thinking about it. So yeah, I can't believe it's a 3rd one already. But this one was a different event. Even before I got there, I felt a little bit, I don't know, I was not very excited. I think the novelty of the stage races and the whole challenge was wearing off already. And my brain and my body was definitely also feeling it. And of course, we had, the loss of Chad the weeks prior. So my head wasn't like 100% focused on it. But I remember packing very unorganized compared to the previous ones. I was just like all over the place, and perhaps that led to a very stupid mistake. And the mistake I've only done, the biggest mistake I've done in the whole series. I mean, it had to come, right? So far, it was been pretty, all right. I haven't made a huge mistake, so I can wait to share with you what happened, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. But quick appreciation, applause for Andy, your media manager, for holding the fort here at home, and obviously posting a little bit all the live information that he gets through, social media and the website and everything, kind of like trying to keep you all posted and updated of what was going on.
And the panic moments.
Oh yeah, he got a couple of panic moments because Tanya,
your GPS stopped working. I was like, why are you in the same place for like 4 hours?
Funny story, and everyone was panicking because also there were some other people that appeared being like in the airport or just in different places, and again, family watching over the other side of the world without communication, seeing this, it was like a whole blowout. But apparently the GPS was, the trackers that we have obviously are powered by a satellite, I guess, or something. And apparently because of the issues that are going on in the Middle East, there was a period that the government, or I don't know, whoever deals with that, they were shutting off all those like signals. And that's why our GPSs sometimes were way off. And that happened a couple of times during the race. So I think that was that, and that my battery died.
Yeah.
That could be enough.
That is pretty interesting though, isn't it?
That was pretty interesting. They were getting emails and like, we were reading obviously, and they were like the race directors and the race manager were like trying to answer all the emails and everything just to keep everyone was safe, everyone was good, but we were just having issues with the GPS. So yeah, but yeah, how you handle it pretty well.
Yeah.
You panicked a little bit.
I just
sent a couple of angry emails.
I was just like, why are you stopped for 4 hours? What is going on? What is happening?
What was your first thing that you thought? What came to your mind?
I thought you'd hurt your ankle.
Oh, that was the first thing.
The first thing I thought, you've hurt your ankle.
Oh yeah, because I had a twist ankle.
Beforehand.
Okay. And I was like, why do you think that?
And then I thought to myself, nah, there must be something wrong because I know you, and even if you had a dodgy ankle or whatever, you would pretty much crawl as far as you can. Do you know what I mean?
That's what you think. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I was quietly confident you'd be all right, but that way it's just a bit of a worry of like what's going on. Because
the reality is that anything can happen. You can fall down and break, your foot.
Get attacked by a snake.
Attacked by a snake or scorpions. I didn't see it, but there were a couple around. There was a couple of BTS people that actually got to see a couple of scorpions. I didn't see them, but yeah. So
it's wild, that
fun,
quite literally.
So let's start this episode, guys. We have a lot of things to cover, and let's start with your usual favorite section of the episode. Facts by Andy.
Love these. I think I said last time I actually feel like part of the community because I get to know more of it.
For people that are watching YouTube, I'll have like a big screen. Facts by Andy.
Facts by Andy. Yeah, I love
flashing
that.
The screen.
Okay.
All right.
But some of these are funny ones this week.
All right. I'm excited. I never know what he's going to come up with, so this is fun.
Okay, so I've got the old man glasses on. Right, okay, so first of all, did you know runners used to drink champagne as an energy drink?
What?
So it may seem crazy and dangerous to runners today, but back in Victorian times, it was thought that alcohol was a performance enhancer. It's thought that the tradition dates back to the ancient Greeks and China.
Okay, I do have something to add here. That there has to be some truth to that. I'll tell you why.
There is truth to it. It's Facts by Andy.
Remember that GB ultras that oh my God, probably I shouldn't say it, right? But I don't know if it was part of their organization or it was just a volunteer that liked to be, festive. But there was one car usually close to the finish line, like 10 kilometers before. It was a 550 miler challenge I did, right? So it was every 50 miler. So let's say in kilometer 70, there was a car with beer,
the bar you told me, yeah.
There was a full bar. Usually, in the places that were very remote, like Snowdown, and that was not happening. But the ones I did, that there was in the city or there was like towns, there was a car there. Again, I don't know if it was part of the community, maybe, or it was part of the race, but it was very well put. And every time I seen them, I will run into it, and there was guys taking fireballs, and I was like, I cannot do that. But one time, I do remember sitting down in the curve of the street.
Yeah.
Sitting down, and the guy's like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I'll have a beer." And I sat down there, crying my eyeballs out because I was in so much pain. It was like one of those tarmac 80-kilometer races, and oh my God, everything hurt so bad. But after taking the beer, I could feel a relief.
Yep, a bit more relaxed or something.
Yeah, more relaxed, and probably the alcohol is takes down. It's an inhibition, like it just
that sounds about right.
Shuts down your feeling.
Well, do you know what as well? Incredibly, before performance testing, way back in Victoria times and before, they used to take drugs for running. So we're talking about Class A drugs here.
We still do
because of YouTube. I can't say them, but they used to take Class A drugs before. Oh, we still do. Right, okay, moving on to the next fact.
Fact number 2.
Did you know there are backward half marathons?
Backward, like how?
Running backwards. So, the world record for running a half marathon backwards is 1 hour and 40 minutes. It's a
pretty
German
fast. I couldn't
guy,
even walk.
a Ger-
I couldn't
German
even run
guy
that forward.
called Achim Artez. Set the world record for the fastest half marathon running backwards in 2009. in
There you go.
Germany.
So if you're too slow like me running forward, maybe we should try that.
I was thinking, how much fun would that be?
I mean, I will have to need like a guide in my ear, like, okay, left, 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 right, right.
Oh, you've got to be running, surely looking over your shoulder. I imagine running backwards with a mirror.
Or a mirror, yeah. Okay.
Well,
Interesting.
there you go.
There you go, guys.
Number 3. Do you know what the record is for the most marathons in 1 year? And it is an insane amount of numbers of a marathon.
I will tell you what, it has to be way over 200 and something, because I know the ultra marathon, the 50 Candice, I think, has the record for the most 50-kilometer runs in a year.
Are miles out.
It's less than the 200.
So more.
Yeah, that's what I said. It has to be
Ricardo
way
Abad
over.
from Spain holds the record for the most marathons run in a single year, with 607 marathons run in 365 days.
Oh, so he did 2 marathons in a day, for example.
More or less, yeah. Not quite, but yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
607 in a year. That's incredible, isn't it?
All right. That's another idea.
I mean, big shout out to him.
That's another idea.
Yeah. Okay, next one.
All right.
Did you know 12 of the world's top 20 distance runners are members of the Kalenjin tribe from northwest Kenya?
I mean, Kenyans are good.
They are pretty fast,
So I guess if
aren't they?
you want to run fast, go and train with the Kenyans. There's a book.
Or
like that.
look for races that don't have Kenyans in it. You might get
They
a podium
always have
place.
Kenyans on it. But I will tell you what, I do know is getting popular, the camps to go and train with the Kenyans.
Yeah, we've seen that,
So
didn't we?
yeah,
Yep.
they're getting quite out there. So yeah.
Yep. Okay, and the last one.
Alright.
Actually, I don't know why I love this one, but I do.
Okay.
So there is a scientifically proven ideal temperature for race day.
Okay.
What do you
Ooh,
think?
this is interesting.
What do you think it is?
I know it's not over 40. That's definitely not ideal.
What do you think
I
it
would
is?
say 20s. I would say 23.
No.
What?
So it's 7.2 degrees Celsius or 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So
7? That's
scientifically,
cold, though.
scientific testing revealed that this based on body reactions to various temperatures over various races, sampling 100 athletes.
Well, yeah.
That's why faster times tend to come from spring and autumn in races.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, because you get warmed, you get warm up,
Yep.
and then you're
So
like,
technically-
you need like cold weather, like fresh,
Yep.
coldish.
Yep.
Okay.
So technically,
So-
you are faster in Scotland.
That is true. I do agree with
There
that.
you go.
I do. I
We
do
have just
have
proved
to
it.
agree with that because yeah, here I walk.
And that wraps up Facts by Andy.
Love them. So we got a couple of tips there. If you
Yeah.
want to go faster, go and train with the Kenyans and run in
Or if you want a podium place,
7
like I said.
7-degree Celsius. Yeah. That's
And maybe have a champagne or two before you start running.
There you go. And if you want to break a record, you got a couple of ideas there, which I know. I'm thinking about it. So
You're thinking
that's
about it. You don't even like champagne.
no. I'm saying like I want a record. I want
Oh,
a
you
world
want a
record of
record.
something. I don't even care if it's something stupid like
Oh.
the most. I don't know. Jumps in 1 feet.
We actually had this conversation before.
I know.
Where Tanya was looking for something obscure
I know.
to win,
But
to be a world record holder.
Don't spoil it. But I'm telling you here, guys, it's gonna happen. I just have to think, and I'm good at thinking. So give me.
You're
give
good
me-
at thinking.
Give me time.
Good at
All right,
moaning.
guys. So let's get into all the Jordan chat. I know you all looking forward to this. Of course, as you know, we made it, and it was not an easy feat. And my question that I had in my head all the race in my head was the question that we left pending in the last season. Does anyone can do this? And I think I have an answer for that.
I
But
thought we'd finished this
I
question.
know, but I don't know why it kept not bothering me, but it was in my head. Like, can you like, I don't know why. I was thinking constantly about the answer or the perfect answer or what I really think about that. But hold that thought, right? So this race again was in Jordan, so I had to fly to Amman. It was a very short flight for me. For us, it was, well, for me, because you didn't go. For me, and I still arrive one day early. I like to just arrive one day early because you never know, and more so because I didn't pack, so I packed everything arriving there. And I do have a video coming about how to pack for these stage races, or how do I pack. So I'll put it up soon. I just need to fix it because I've received a fair amount of questions about how do I pack my bag so tiny. And even during the race, people will be surprised in how my bag was so tiny. It was not the lightest. It was 8 kilos, and without water to start. So obviously that started going down. But in size wise, it was quite compact, and people were like asking me. So I'll put that up there whenever I can and get a chance. And yeah, and also my red light backpack is amazing. It looks tiny, but it fits, or
It fits so much in,
so much, and it has so many tiny pockets everywhere. And I think that's the key. Use all the pockets that you've got to kind of like, and then keep yourself organized, because that's another ingredient or like key piece to any race really, even a short race, or short race, I'm calling a marathon and ultra marathon. One day, you still have to be pretty organized in your backpack. So yeah, I love that race experience. Starts even when you're traveling. And then when I got there, I think it was a Thursday, and there is a WhatsApp group and that Racing the Planet put up. And it's very useful, because if you're newbie or even not newbie, you can just like put their questions about gear or what you guys traveling, or if someone wants to buddy up to share a caf, because there was people taking maybe the same flights, and why not? So all that is race experience is quite cool. So if you're traveling somewhere to do a race, I think like enjoy the whole thing since like you leave the house. And when I got there, last time we were in Petra, actually a year before this time, and we missed visiting Petra by night. And I've seen the pictures, and it looked absolutely amazing. So I really wanted to go. So I got there, got my ticket, and then I just WhatsApp someone saying, "Does anyone want to go with me?"
Yep, I was raging about that because I wanted to do it when we were there.
I did message you.
You did.
Can I go? Because I
know,
felt
like,
so
what?
guilty of going, and you were not gonna be there.
Very disappointed. But I'm glad you went, to be fair, because it did.
I did ask permission because I felt so
Ask for
bad.
permission. That's not normal, by the way.
And and someone obviously raised their hand. It was actually Sal, which is another Grand Plus slammer. So it was really good. We kind of slammer.
Grand Plus slammer.
I know.
Grand Slam Pluser.
Sure, why not?
Why not?
And Fee also, it was a volunteer in the race. So it was great to meet her and catch up as well, because we haven't seen each other since COVID, and all the normal chat. And then that was it. It was really fun. The next day we had the check-in, and as you know, we go to the hotel and you have to lay out all your kit. So don't even bother packing too well, because it's going to get wrecked again. Someone's going to stand up there and ask you to take every single little piece.
See, at that point, have you already, because we've talked quite a lot before about you repacking your food, have you repacked your food by that point, or do you do that after?
No, yeah, it's already repacked. I do put there how many calories is in each bag, because they need to check that you are carrying 14,000. It's not like they have a calculator and then each one, but I do have a bag, and each bag has like how many calories in each bag, just to make their job easier.
Easy to read.
And I mean, they're pretty fair. Like they know already, if they see you like with 3 goose, and they will know like something is wrong. This is not 14,000. So the minimum is 14,000 calories, and I think I did pretty much 14,000. And that was it. My final weight, like I was saying, it was 8.5, I believe, without water, and that is only going to be with me for the first 1 day or the 2, and then the weight will start obviously coming down. after you start eating your food. So, and then after that, we were driven by the buses, which that was the last probably Instagram post I put there. That we were taking us to the bus. That's when it, I think for me, becomes real when I turn off my phone and I put the phone in airplane mode, and that's me off for a
Just to
whole
be clear,
week.
that wasn't the struggle bus. The struggle bus comes later on.
That's the one that way back. That's not the struggle bus. The struggle bus is when you need to pick you up after 6 days.
You got a few of them, did you?
Oh, I was in the struggle bus don't spoil it, but the whole race. But yeah, we got into the bus and drove us. It wasn't very far, a couple of hours, I think 1 or 2 hours up into the camp, the first camp. I've been there before in Jordan and it was beautiful. I love the Jordanian desert. I think it looks so much different from the Namib desert. I think Namib desert has that golden sand that you can see even in my pictures. And the Jordan desert is like reddish, like that red color. And it's just, it's literally like in Mars.
A question I never asked you, but was it the same route as Ultra X?
No. So
it was a different route from Ultra X, was it? I thought it was going to be the same. Right?
Different.
Okay.
Remember, I was telling you guys, like I was so excited to go because I've been there and I thought like it was all Ultra X has a fairly, now that I compare it was fairly easy route. It was like a lot of hard packed sand, and the sand that they had, it was not that deep. It was, some areas were sandy but not as deep as what we encountered in this one. So I got there and I think I even said in the last episode, thank God, because I don't think I can do another Namibia. I don't think I have that mental strength. Well, yeah. My fears and my worst nightmares are about to turn truth because it was another Namib, probably worse.
With other bigger problems.
With other bigger problems. So the first day, that's when I noticed like, okay, the first day is 40 kilometers, stage 1. I think the first half was runnably-ish, like it was a little bit runnable. I think it was the only part of the whole thing of the first 4 days that was runnable. And the first day is, I don't know, the first day I always feel like it's excitement and it's, you don't feel as broken. So it goes fairly fast. And it was truly the only day I felt the weight of the loss of Chato, I think. It was the only day I really like, I was crying a lot and then just feeling sorry for myself.
Is that because you think you had time to think about it because it wasn't as tough a day? I know that you've got other days to come, do you know what I mean, that are tougher, because you wouldn't have known that. But do you think it's because you were, not easy, but it felt a bit more?
I think I was too stressed of getting there. It's the stress, getting everything prepared, traveling, meeting all the requirements, making sure you didn't forget anything. So when you are released, when you're like actually start racing, for me and a lot of other runners that I speak to, it's actually like calm.
A release.
Yeah, that's it. Like there's nothing else to do. Like all the stress just strips away. There's no phone. There's nowhere else to be. And I think these races, and more so for me, the desert for me is, I just love it. It's another different setup that every crack, it just bears you. It's just so like, like magical. That moment of like starting, you don't have anything else to think or to be, like I said. But if you have a crack, it's going to show. And so it's the moment that when I'm saying like you need to get there with a strong mind and a very calm mind and have no demons. It's almost like when you're about to take a drug. Like you better be in a good state because
hold on a minute. What do you mean?
You better be in a good, in a good state mentally, because all the demons are going to appear. And that one like showed up right away. And I think it was the only day that I was like very, very, very sad for a lot of hours there. But I think I was just relaxed and I kind of enjoyed that. I was looking forward to that. I knew I was going to come. So I was looking forward to
I
that.
have a question. See, in every race,
Yeah.
sort of out of all the three,
Yeah.
see on the first day,
Mhm.
you always start on the start line. You're always there on the start line. You're literally at the front.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm
then
always...
you start running, and you can see you're all smiles and all happy. And then after that, I can't find you.
Tanya
On day,
disappears.
day 2, not on the start line. Day 3, not on the start line. Day 4 at the back. I don't know. Is there a reason why you do
Tanya
that?
is running.
Or you just want to let everybody know you're actually running it?
The first one, just because I want to be in the picture.
Is that what it is? Wanna be
And then
famous.
number 2, 3. In this case, I was running late a couple of times. I was like, oh, I couldn't stand up. And I was like, I'm just going to wait until everyone's like literally there.
Yeah.
And then
make
there's
your
other
way.
other times that I'm like, past people, you can see them. They are like really competing. So I rather just give them the space clearly.
Yeah.
Because the first day, no one knows. And everyone's just, like I said, it's like a celebration of like, finally we're here. But then day 2, day 3 is really a competition for people that are actually competing. So and I'm walking
Always
pretty
think that's
much
funny.
all the time.
Always.
So
Always in the start line the
okay,
first day.
I will be in the first in the first line every
full
day
of
for the next one.
excitement for the first day, like a wee kid, and then that's it.
Just Tanya dies.
After that, you remember what you're doing.
Oh my god! But it was so the first 20 kilometers were great until I started feeling a little bit of a pain in my feet from my trainers. I was like, this is a weird pain, and like a stabbing pain, like walking on Legos pain, like the pain that you get when you're walking outside or when you're walking for like many, many hours. And it's a pain that I will get when I'm like in kilometer 70 or 80, not kilometer 20, like it was just like, what is this happening? And I just started thinking, like what is it? Like I'm wearing the same socks, like I'm wearing the same everything. And that's when I got like that, did you guys get it? I haven't changed anything, including the shoes.
Do you know the funny thing is? We were actually talking about that probably about a month prior to the race, because we were talking about what is the lifespan of a pair of shoes.
Yep.
And we actually, I think we were just talking in a general sense about it. And I think we never thought anything else about it after that.
I did.
Because
and then we had so many things going on prior the race, like that week, like 2-3 weeks before, when that's usually when, I'll do my orders. I'm going to have to buy things here and there, that it just never crossed my mind. I just thought, my trainer, oh yeah, I'm going to take my desert trainers and shoes. Okay, that's it. Like I never thought anything of it. But those shoes have run Jordan with me, like Jordan, the previous Jordan. So a year ago, Jordan.
had them since
That's
Glasgow.
250. I already did a couple of training runs with those ones. I took them to Namiv. Those are the same shoes that I wore in Namiv for 250 kilometers. So that's just racing. That's 500 kilometers. And plus some training runs, like I said. So that's way over the lifespan of these kind of shoes, even though they're like super shoes or Mahuka. I think the shoes will have roughly 500, 700, obviously depending a lot of things, because I did some digging and obviously depending about the terrain, the weight of the athlete, and considering I'm a heavy athlete and I've wore them in really, rocky, sandy, salty in Namibia terrain, I will say they were pretty much done. So all days I was thinking, well, I'm already there. I'm thinking this was a mistake, but that's what I have now to deal with for the next 250 kilometers. And yeah, it was, I think the first day I was so angry with myself. I was angry, and I was just like, I can't believe this is going to be the experience I'm going to have in this race. Like, yeah, I was pretty mad with myself.
So, see, I'm going to explain to me and the listeners, I guess, a wee bit more. How you said it felt like you were walking on Legos, but for me, you're going through sand.
Yeah.
So, what difference does that make on your feet? Because if you're running through sand, obviously you don't have that compounding. It's almost like you're sinking in a little bit.
Yeah, but you still obviously you get to a to a stop, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you just, it's not.
And you feel it.
So you feel it.
So do you feel like it goes up through your ankle into your legs because there's
It
no
was
support there?
all the foot, like all of it.
Was it?
Yeah, it was not
So
even
like
the
the ball of
heel.
your foot and everything.
The ball of my foot was so sore. I still feel some pains right now, and um, even my feet are cracking a lot. So yeah, all my feet. Like you have so many muscles and so many tendons and so many in the sole of your feet and your foot. So yeah, all those were pretty sore. So obviously I was like, this is bad, and it's day 1 km 20. Like I couldn't even bear the idea of day 5 and do 90 kilometers on that. Like I was just, yeah, it was a moment of like, I can't believe this.
So see when you came at the end of day 1 and obviously you realised that, what was going through your head?
Stage 2, I was like, okay, maybe. Even day 1, I thought maybe it was just the terrain. I don't know. I was trying to, even though I knew it was the shoe, I thought, you know what, like you said, maybe sand. If I try to walk in the sand, it will be softer in my feet. Like I was trying to, or maybe it was this day. I don't know. I was trying to still, I couldn't, I didn't want to think about it too much. So I tried to forget about it in day 2. Stage 2 is again 40 kilometers. I was like, okay, I have other issues to deal with, like the heat.
Yeah.
It was still pretty hot, guys. I think around over high 30s, 40s through the day. And from 1 to 4 was the peak of the heat. It was absolutely roasting. Again, no shade. There was a couple of times when we went through canyons that you will have a little bit of shade and you will see people just sitting down and just
Some of the
staying there
pictures
for
are
a little
funny,
bit,
actually, aren't they?
just staying there away. And even if you find a tiny bit of shade, people, you will see them like just, sticking next to the rock, just to get away from the sun. So it was still pretty brutal. And even though I thought I would be acclimatized because, I thought I trained in Dubai summer and I did all my runs outside and I was like pretty confident. You remember I was telling you all that I was excited to see if I was feeling a little bit more acclimatized after having now this at home. Well, there's another lesson here for you all and for me. And it's called overexposure.
All right, we've not talked about this.
Or over stress. Because I got there and the moment I was starting to, like, the moment I start feeling hot, I was like, I'm done. Like, I was tired already of the heat. So if you remember right, it was probably a little bit less hot than Namib. But in Namibia, I was excited for the sun a little bit because we were in Glasgow and we'd never have sun. So whenever we get there, I was like, oh my God, sun. I know it's brutal, but my skin was taking it all in. And I was like, oh yeah, that feels nice. But then when I got there, I was like, oh no, hot sun again. Like I've been living with this extreme heat for months now, going through summer in Dubai. So it was like, I don't want any more sun. Like I'm tired mentally and overstressed from the exposure already. So usually an athlete that doesn't live in heat, for example, they just live in a normal, I'd say Scotland or anywhere, and they don't have this extreme exposure like we do. We usually have like a acclimatizing protocol, like 2-3 weeks before training the race. You do heat training, 20 minutes in the sauna, and then you go out, you do a little bit. I live in a sauna for 24/7, and even instead of like that helping me, I feel like that didn't help me.
But was that a physical thing or a mental thing?
I think it was both, to be honest, mentally and physically. Like physically was like, I can't. It's because if the mind is the one that
Triggers it all.
triggers the body, right? If my mind's saying, oh no, I hate this, your body is going to react that way. And even though I tried to, to say like, yeah, it's heat, I was just done. I was just tired of the sun. So that made me think, I think I should have done a little bit more runs inside rather than outside, or just do like half of my training indoors and half of my training outdoors, instead of thinking, more is better. That's another lesson of that. Not always more is better. So the protocols that we do for heat acclimatizing with my athletes or with people that are doing these races is very, very, it's like 20 minutes only. Like if you overexpose your body to heat, it's going to be overstressed because heat is a stressor. So if you overstress it and then you get to the race already stressed and it's like an extreme, it's just overstressing it. So I was just pretty much done physically and mentally. And we live here. We had no escape to that. So, but perhaps I should have said, like I said, changed a little bit on that. So definitely something to consider next time. Well, not next time, but
Yeah.
I don't know, something to consider you all, so
But that's even something. But that's even something to consider for people that even just run in hot countries. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You need to
considering
think about
doing
it.
more runs indoors and don't overstress. Only if you're like super acclimatized to that weather, and then you've lived there all your life and you're pretty cool. If you're just moving like us from a different, I think just take that in consideration. So I started to realize that I have that also against me a little bit, and I was overheating like super fast. Again, I don't know if it was mentally or physically, but I was like, my heart was beating really fast, really quickly. And again, it wasn't even that hot as Namibia. So that's what I thought. Why you're responding like this if it was not as hot? But I was just, and my feet were hurting so much and my pace was starting to like go so slow because of the pain on my feet. And being slower means being longer and more exposed to the sun. So I was just really thinking by day 2, like, I don't know how I'm going to survive this. Two more days of this.
Building
And
up
then
a lot of frustration, isn't it? I can see it in you. Yeah.
it's like 2 days. This is day 2. And I still have to do another 2. And I couldn't even bear the idea of the 90 kilometers. Whenever that crossed my mind, I was like, no, we're not even going there. When I'm usually looking forward to that day.
Yeah, that's your jam,
I am
isn't
usually
it?
like,
That's your
yes, I'm just waiting for the long day because I just really enjoy the long day. I one of the reasons that I love these races is because of the problem solving side of it. And I know you laugh at me now that I'm a problem solver, but I really enjoy it. And
That's your new nickname, isn't it?
that's my new nickname. And that was the riddle I needed to solve for this race, right? I need to go from point A to point B without giving up. So that second day was so brutal mentally. I was desperation, not able to move faster. And physically being out there for 9-10 hours in the blistering sun it was not going to work. So I was pretty upset. Like I said, I couldn't move. So I couldn't believe I made that stupid mistake on my trainers. And so I had to make up a plan. So I was like, how? So that's the riddle, right? And so I started to think or make up, how can I make this work? So the plan was, after a lot of thinking, this was the plan. I'm not going to put you through all my mental catharsis. I was going to stay in checkpoint 2, in every checkpoint. So checkpoint is usually, I'll talk about checkpoints, but every checkpoint is every 10 kilometers, right? So if it's a 40 kilometer, you have 3 checkpoints because the fourth one is the finish line, right? So you guys understand. So the first checkpoint is usually 10 kilometers, which I was fine. It's usually not that hot by that time in the morning. So checkpoint 1, we're good. Checkpoint 2 is when my feet starting to hurt. So I thought I'm going to have to stop in checkpoints 2 to lay down, put my feet up for 20 minutes. I usually don't stop in checkpoints like that long. I would just refill my waters, and get out. Like I said, I am a slow runner or a slow walker. So I have to make up time in the checkpoints because of this. So that was going to be a problem. So I put my feet up for 20 minutes. And for checkpoint 3, which if you remember, I said that the peak of the heat was from 1 to 4. So that's when I was going around 2 or 3, I was getting to checkpoint 3, when it was the peak of the heat. Like the heat was just brutal. So that meant that, from checkpoint 3 to 4, you will have to be battling really, really the hottest part of the day. And I was like, no. So in checkpoint 3, I decided that I said in the next stage, in checkpoint 3, I'm going to stop completely until they kick me out. So that means until the sweepers are like passing through. So when the sweepers pass you, you're out, right? Because you're timed out. So until the sweepers pass me, whatever the time it is. So that was a plan. Obviously, I was not happy about it because that meant that I would probably have to stop in the checkpoint for 40 minutes, an hour. And I think it was like, the longest I stayed was like an hour. So,
Well, do you know, interestingly enough, see on the first day, you were middle of the pack the whole day.
yeah, because the first day I was the first half was runnable ish.
Yeah.
So I'm okay running. And then I realized about my feet, but they were hurting. But I was like, okay, I could deal with a little pain. But by day 2, it was like they were already sore.
It just felt
so
like it was too
it was
much.
getting worse and worse and worse,
Right,
obviously,
okay.
because it's like something is sore and then you're not.
Yep. Because I think
Feeling
looking at it from the other side, when you're looking at a GPS,
Yeah.
you see you middle of the pack and you think, right, okay, so that's a good start. That's how you always like to start. That's how our plan is. You always start off middle of the pack. And then you get to your long day and you just get out there and
Shoot.
do it and shoot. And you always improve on those days. So I was thinking to myself, oh, this looks quite positive. And then when day 2 came, I was thinking,
What is happening?
yeah, there's something wrong because you've dropped right back.
Day 2 was brutal because I was not in a good place. I was trying to figure it out. And then again, but I came up with this problem, right? With this solution of the problem that I was already living. So, and this is exactly what I love this race is. This is maybe not the race I wanted, but this is the race I've got. And in ultras and more in long stage ones, you have enough time to solve it and to think how to solve it. And I had my life pillars that I've had, and they are patience and love, and I have to take those out. So if you know my mental toolkit, inside that mental toolkit is like my safeguards. Like whenever things are getting really really rough, I have to turn like how we're gonna solve this, and first of all, how to attack a problem. So with the glasses of patience and love. So patience to take those kilometers that are going to be very slow because obviously I was dealing with my feet that were really really achy, and talking to myself with love, because even though I made a mistake, I was not tackling it in the right way because I was just getting frustrated with myself. I was getting angry, and that was not going to help me to solve anything. So, and I just changed that conversation with myself. Or if instead of being angry, I say, you know what, you're here. You've been through a lot through the past weeks, and you're still here. So, and you're doing something amazing. So, you're doing great. We just have to work through this. So when I put those glasses on, I think everything changed, and I was able to think, I was able to solve, and and even say to myself, you're doing great, in the sense of like there is 1,000 million things that I had to put in place for this race, and even my parents were also traveling, so I had to plan another trip for them because I planned their trip
them as well.
and missing one little thing. I know it was not a little thing, but missing one out of the 1,000 things that you also like, a business and all the things that I have to take care of, you missed one. So, like just give yourself a break.
But I think that shows, see, well, I consider you, and I've said it before, as like a pro runner because you've been doing it for so long and you've got great experience in it. But I think that it shows that people can make mistakes as well.
Yeah,
in
they
these
make
things,
it all the time.
And actually seeing all the documentaries that we've watched over the years, think of all the people, even Killian Jornell, like turns around and says, I made a mistake in that race. And with him, with all his experience, and he is like the GOAT of running, do you know what I mean? He still makes mistakes, so it's okay to do that. It's just, I can imagine how frustrating it is at the point, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the question I've got for you, and again, maybe something that you can give us a bit of insight into, as you said that you put glasses on that gave you a different perspective. How do you overcome that mentally? How do you separate the fact that, right, okay, I just need to put that behind me and I need to go onto this train.
Because I knew I was in trouble. Like I think the key number one is like, no, okay, I'm in trouble. Like I'm not gonna be able to survive this. I need. So that's when I turn out. It's like cutting yourself. You cut yourself. What do? You go to your medical kit right away, right? So same thing. I realized I was bleeding, mentally
Yeah.
or
Yep.
physically, not physically. And I turn around to my mental toolkit. And in my mental toolkit, when I need to solve something, always the first two things I deal with is that patience and love. Because if you don't have that, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose your mind. And if you're losing your mind, you cannot think straight and you're going to make even more stupid mistakes. Like maybe if I was driven by the anger that I was feeling in that moment and desperation and sadness and pain, I probably would have pulled the plug because I wouldn't have been able to think straight if I was gonna just drive with those emotions. So when I was starting to see those emotions, I just say like, okay, toolkit, I'm gonna put my glasses on to solve this problem and I'm gonna see it through patience and love. Patience. So first of all, just, see what the problem is, how can we solve it? And know that you're gonna have know that you're gonna have to be patient. Again, patient with kilometers are going to be quite slow. Also the ego, having to see everyone go fast or have a good race and you are not having it, that feels quite tough as well. That is another feeling that I had to let go. And, and that was when love comes in. Like you have to remember that, just hug yourself and know like you're not, you're not a failure. You're not, the thoughts of like, oh, you're not good enough, you shouldn't be doing this, or things like that, they come. So you have to like attack it with love, because again, otherwise, if you start taking that, it's just
I think the thing that you started saying was a good visual analogy for me anyway to take into my head, because I for me, and I'm sure a lot of people out there, I am sometimes not able to separate the problem. The problem still carries on in your head. To be able to definitively separate it and carry on, I think, well, it's quite brave. But I like the visual analogy in my head of when you cut yourself, you go to the first aid box and you put a plaster on it.
Yeah.
And then generally what you do is you forget about it, don't you? So I think that's a good visual analogy of something that you can do if you're out there running, you come across those kind of problems.
Yeah.
Think about it in that
And
manner.
that's why,
I quite
again,
like
I
that.
love ultras, because you have so much time where you can actually solve that, and you have time with patience. You have time, is usually will resolve.
Yeah.
If you have the patience and the love to do it, you will be able to resolve it. Things that maybe you won't have in a 10K, right? It's fast. It's just, So yeah, that would be my advice to, and those are, by the way, those are my two pillars, right? Maybe I chose those because patience is something I don't have, and I reckon is something I don't have.
I can back that up.
And love, because it's not that I don't love myself, but I am quite harsh with myself, and I'm quite selfish, and that drives that I am quite hard with myself, because I am so selfish and so like personalist, and like everything is on me all the time, and I have to remember that. So those pillars, I would recommend you have those for not even racing, your life, seriously, anything that you deal with. I'm talking about solving problems in a race, but I think these problems come in life for anything. And this is, if you have those pillars, it's like when you have a company and you put the objectives and the values of the company. You are a company, and what kind of values are going to drive your decisions? And this is what it drives my decisions and my problem solving. Like always, the base is going to be patience and love for me. You can choose yours, I think you have to do some thinking and some digging. That's what probably ultras did to me. I had a lot of time to think, and that's when I came with this. But it maybe just take some time where you're like meditating or something. Just think in something that is important for you, that maybe you are weak at, and that you can apply, or it was going to help you to solve problems. So yeah, you can choose your own. So important before the race, just to end up the first episode, one, have a plan. I think also that helped a lot. We spoke about this in the previous episodes, but just really quick, if you haven't heard the other episodes, the plan is when I went to a race or whenever you go to a race and it's going to be really difficult, just have a plan in place when things go wrong. So I am not going to give up, or I'm not going to pull the plug or DNF if I am tired, hungry, what did I say? Tired, hungry, or
Was it too hot or too cold?
oh yeah, too hot, right? Because this one I was doing hot, right? So I'm not gonna DNF if this happens. First, I'm gonna solve it, and then I make a decision. So again, I apply the same thing. I was not gonna pull the plug just because I was in pain a little bit. I'm going to solve it, and then even if I start solving it and that doesn't help, and I still in that deep hole, then probably I will DNF, right? But I have a plan whenever that happens. I just don't panic. I know it's there. And number two, again, the life pillars. Those are the how you're going to attack the problem, and just your values in life in general. So those are the two big things that I recommend and I suggest for everyone. Again, not only running, I think in life, but in running they come very handy, and they were applied to the fullest in this race. It's been a while since I don't take them out fully. So yeah, it was quite interesting to undust the mental toolkit.
The funny thing is when you come back, and obviously one of the big issues was with the trainers, is even when you come back and you put the trainers out and you were like, I don't think I can throw them away. Remember?
They've been with me for so long. I know I'm one of the people that don't have a lot of trainers. I just have like one or two, and I just marry with that pair, and I just
One or
don't
two,
let them go.
5.
Well, 5. Yeah. But I don't have a big rotation like
No, you don't have.
usual runners. And yeah. So let's go to the questions really fast. I don't know how long it's been this episode, by the way, but I have 2 questions from the people today.
From people?
People. Okay, we'll do 2. Sorry, we have more, but I'll just do 2. One more. No, he started here. How you are feeling right now, and when you are running ultra distances, how you manage pain. We just spoke about this.
We just spoke about it, yeah.
That's great. Well, I love that every time I ask for like, send me your questions, half of them are, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
There's like 5 of them, like, how you feeling.
But you know the funny thing is,
and I love that. Thank you so much for caring.
That's not just about people caring about the situation, right? But I think that's about people wondering how they would feel at the end of an ultra. They want to try and understand what that feeling will be like when it's finished.
Do you want me to answer with the truth, or do you want me to answer
always
happily?
With the truth? Always with the truth.
I feel. I cannot say my words.
Do you just feel knackered?
SH 2 asterisks.
Do you just feel knackered?
I feel knackered. I feel, if you've seen my last post on Instagram, I came back with 4 kilos overweight. I am so bloated. My hormones are all over the place. My period got 1 week earlier. And you get the usual pimples. You get the usual stress in your stomach, like digestive issues, like the first couple of days after you come back. Sorry for the picture, guys, and if you're eating, sorry, but you're like pooping black for a couple of days, which is not great. I feel pretty dehydrated, and yeah, it's just my body has gone to the trash. Absolutely. Like, I had a decent body before the races, and I feel like now it's absolutely gone. Every race takes a lot of muscle and keeps a lot of fat just because of the stress you're putting. Because my cortisol levels, I was talking about it the other day with you, my cortisol doesn't seem to be regulating by itself. So putting myself through these extreme races sends like the wrong signals, and I just storing more fat than usual. So that's a normal risk, not normal, but it's just a response of putting your body through these extreme things and so often. So like I was saying, someone, I don't think it's the healthiest I've been, because I don't think this is something healthy to do. Maybe one race a year would be fun. This much extreme racing, I don't. It's not that I don't advise it, but it's just
I think you don't. To be fair, I don't think you quite understand it yet, even though you've done 3.
it's brutal in the body.
Yeah,
Brutal.
and because there's not a great deal of time between them to recover properly. And I remember I used to think, surely you can recover in a couple of weeks or whatever. But actually, it goes
Deeper.
metabolically
Yeah.
and everything else deeper than that
Deeper,
because of the stress that you're putting
Like
in.
my muscles are fine. Like I could run right now if you want. Like muscly wise, joint wise, I don't have any pain.
Still got the miles in you.
Yeah, absolutely fine. But just metabolically, mentally, and like the homeostasis of your body is off, obviously. So it takes a while to put it back. And like you said, it's not enough time between races. 5-7 weeks is just not enough.
I think it's from what we've learned as well, and throughout all this, I think that I'm not saying that you've been naive to what it was going to be like doing the 5 deserts. We knew it was going to be really tough, but I think there's things that people should try and understand a bit more. Like, for example, electrolytes and hydration. That is unbelievably important about how your electrolytes
but that's
carry
not going
your
to
oxygen
stop
and
you
stuff like that. No, it's not. But I think what you can do is there's maybe things that you can maybe do before and after.
Oh yeah. We have a call with I have a call with Albert today, actually, my nutritionist, and we have a plan in place. A lot of protein. Just try to make up a little bit more, or just try to gain a little bit of the muscle that we lost. And and it's funny because I posted a reel in my Instagram about this, and I receive a lot of messages saying about people or women, most so, saying that it's true that happened to them.
Putting on the kilos.
Someone was saying about that. Oh, that happens to me when I run my 200-mile races, and no one talks about it. So if you're trying to do these races to lose weight,
it's not going to be.
It's not
like
going to happen.
Yeah.
So it is. I'm feeling good, but I'm feeling like accomplished. And whenever
that's what I was going to say. It's more of an accomplishment.
Yeah. But I can see my body, and even the pictures. I was looking at the pictures that I got already from the race, and I just look bloated, and I just look just destroyed, and just my body is taking definitely a beat down. And everybody reacts different. I do have people, and it was a couple of guys, or you have these chats in the camp, and some of them were saying that they lose weight like 5 kilos, but you can't compare yourself. You don't know how your body is going to react. My body is just bloating like a popcorn, just because that's the way that my body's coping with the stress of that I'm putting it through. And that's.
But ironically, that is part of the fun.
Ironically, I don't know.
It's part of part of the challenge as well, I guess, isn't it?
Like I said, it's not. And we said this in one of the episodes again, and greatness maybe sometimes is not healthy. And I know, again, I'm recognizing right now, I'm aware I'm doing something that is not healthy. But even the guys from the Olympics, that's not all the people that are in the Olympics that are, the best of the best, any of them are healthy. So if you want to do something great, and sometimes you have to, and more something so extreme, you have to maybe go into the dark side a little bit. I'm looking forward to go back to normal next year and just get my body back and relax and all that fun. So thank you so much for asking, for the 3 people that ask how I'm feeling. I wish I had better news for you, but it's better that you know the truth. And while running ultra distances, that you feel of loneliness, how you manage? Oh, how I manage loneliness. I don't feel lonely.
Well, we, funnily enough, had a talk about this today. Remember when I was saying to you that this is a fact for free? that if you play music while you run, statistically you run about 13 to 15% faster,
Yeah.
right?
That's why I say don't run with your music, because you're gonna get faster.
Yeah, because you're going to get faster. But you always turn to a podcast, or sometimes you turn to music. But then there are those miles or kilometers. You just like to shut it all down and just be with your thoughts, don't you?
So sometimes I have a little bit of a roster of selection things. Like if I'm gonna like push through, like, oh, let's, I have 2 kilometers left, or if I'm in the zone, I'm feeling really good, like in the long day, and I have 10 kilometers to go, and it's the dark, and I want to run, like, I put my music because I want to go fast ish. Not very fast, but for me it's fast. If I want to, surprisingly in this one, I didn't use no music, and I think I heard one podcast, which is an hour, and that was it. All the rest, I was with my thoughts. I was just trying to talk to myself a lot about, because I was in pain, and so I was trying to calm myself. The other Tanya that lives in there, Merenguita was just running around like insane. I'm in too much pain. I was like, shut up. So I was taking care of her, and she's like, she took a lot of my time. But I do not feel lonely. No, I don't know about like feeling lonely. Maybe he meant boredom.
Maybe, but also what you do is you run with people and you talk to them a little bit
Yeah,
as well.
sometimes I was too in the back this time, so I didn't have anyone, or I never have anyone. And to be honest, I prefer it. Like if someone starts talking to me when they're walking and when they're running, if you are a very experienced runner or ultra runner, they will ask you, do you want company? That could be also a good tip for you all. If you see that you're in the same pace with another runner, and you ask first, do you want company? If the other person says yes, you can start chatting. There's another kind of people that enjoy having their time alone, and that's why they are there, just to be with their thoughts, like me. So there will be people that say, oh, I'm okay. Or, that happened to me in this race. I was going with the last walker, and I said, do you want company? She's like, no, I'm better alone. And I said, absolutely fine. And I just cracked on. So, and there's people that, yes. And sometimes I feel like, yes, I want to talk. So you ask me, I will be like, yeah, great. And sometimes I am deep in the pain cave, and I'm like, just don't talk to me right now. I'm fine. And it was funny because even the videographer, sometimes he would say, oh, give me some, if you've seen the videos from the races, you will see that there's videographers around you, and sometimes they want to chat with you. And there was this time I've never said no to the videographer before, and in this race I did say, don't
come near me.
Not right now.
I've had that a few times.
Not right now. Sorry. So yeah, you maybe it depends if you want to be lonely or not. But going back to the question, if you go to these races, you don't need to be lonely. You can always partner up with someone, and if you want to do that. But don't be scared of being lonely. It's a really nice place to be. I think you have to embrace it, and it's quite fun. Like you find yourself quite funny. I crack up myself all the time. I'm the funniest person in my brain.
That's because you're having conversations with two people inside your head.
Exactly. And I am hilarious. So, just be your friend, be your best friend. I think that, and then you will never be lonely. Oh, that's
look at that.
So cheesy.
Profound.
But it's true. I really look forward to the time with me. So yeah, and then you will never be lonely.
I look forward to the time you're running as well.
Exactly. So yeah, that's that was it for today. Just let me know if you have any questions. We're going to do stage 3 and 4 to see if my plan worked or not. Well, clearly worked.
Yeah, because you've got a medal sitting here.
But I will tell you how it, because in the plan, in my head looked fine, and then in reality, it was a little crooked, and but we made it. And yeah, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week. And remember to keep doing whatever makes you ultra happy.